Hey guys, um, this is gonna be more of an official introduction, especially since I actually wrote down questions to try to keep me on better track this go round. But I'm not gonna kid myself. I'm probably gonna still ramble, move off topic. It's just part of that ADHD life, and I apologize in advance. Because it looks backwards to me, I'm not sure if it's going to look backwards to you guys. This says variant, as in the Loki show. So that's why I got it. I'm a nerd. So actually, the pendant that I've been wearing, I know I haven't covered it in the past. This is actually the snakes is the Norse symbol for Loki, like the official Norse, not the MCU stuff. So, little bit different nerd there. But first, an update for those that might be curious. Tom's still in the hospital. Um, they've had him on antibiotics and heparin to work on the blood clot and stuff in his lungs and the COVID. There wasn't anything in his legs or anywhere else. His MRI, according to the doctor that did his 2 brain surgeries, he said that's been looking better. So as far as they can tell, the blood clot just happened because of the chemo and because of the COVID. Apparently, those leave you at greater risk for getting blood clots. That and he's rather he doesn't he's not as active as he should be. That's just the truth of it. Hopefully, I can convince him to work on that better once he gets home. They're going to be sending him to some sort of PT first, which is good because part of my own PTSD is I'm not good when people belittle me or get confrontational to a point, like loud, aggressive, and especially with some of the meds he's on. Like, don't misunderstand, he hasn't gotten physical ever or anything like that. It's just when he does raise his voice or other people raise their voice, it triggers something in my head that begins to tickle that fight or flight sort of response. And so it's my own messed up shit. It's not anything to do with him. So it's better that he go to a PT place and get the help that he needs, people that can deal with his shit. And when he's trying to be obstinate, they'll hopefully convince him to work through it. Because, I mean, this has had to suck for him. But, I mean, at least everything was caught before it really became a problem. I mean, not being able to use your legs is not a little problem, but it could have been much worse. Because blood clots they can be very serious things. So, for all things considered, his health is doing pretty good. And he's hanging out in a COVID room. Apparently has a roommate. And he's being taken care of. I can't go visit him because I'm not going to catch COVID. I haven't caught it thus far yet. Not looking to change that, especially since that could put me in the hospital. And Diana, bonus mom, she's already having to do so much for him. I mean, and we have 2 cats, and then we have to worry about who's going to come take care of them, and no. So that's all about that. So I went online and I tried to find a bunch of questions to ask myself and answer. None of them were too challenging. So if anyone has any questions, I mean, I know no one's really watching at this point, but down the road, who knows? I'm pretty much an open book. So, drop a question and I'll answer it. And it doesn't matter how personal or TMI. Like, I don't have those sorts of filters. Like, I keep wanting to talk about, okay, I'm going to talk about it. Fuck it. So apparently now they have these things for men that are called condom catheters. Lucky. Because apparently it just fits over their penis. It doesn't have to go into their penis. And then they can just wee away and all's good. They don't have to have it inserted. And of course, we women, we're never going to get anything like that. So I found out about that yesterday. And all I can think about is, how fucking lucky are they? So, stuff like that. It doesn't, like, if you want my opinions on things that maybe don't even have to do with me personally, like, I'm thinking of doing XYZ. What are your thoughts? Ask, I used to be a mother hen when I had a lot more friends, and I still do that even when I interact with people online. So, I mean, I'd like to think that any potential advice I would give was relatively sound, and who knows, So, first, name, Odessa Bork. That's O''D ESSA BOURQUE. First name is actually Greek in origin. It took me years to find this, but it was a city named by Catherine the Great in honor of Homer's Odyssey. My mom maintains that the reason why she added the apostrophe and the spelling the way she did is because she was on an epidural. She was a parent in the 80s. The laws of how long someone could be in birth were far different. Like when I keep feeling like there's crap around my mouth, but there isn't. I ate chips a little bit ago, so now I'm self-conscious. So my mom, she was apparently in labor with me for 3 days. 3 days. I was the first, so apparently the most difficult. She says that each one of us afterwards was easier. She had 4 of us in total, all girls. We were supposed to be all boys according to the doctors. Every ultrasound, they were certain we were going to be boys. But nope, all girls. Then again, I was a tomboy, so they might have just knew I was going to have boy energy. But the last name, it's French Canadian, and that's a rumble, trying to make sure he doesn't show his butthole. And I tell people to think of the Swedish chef from the Muppet Show. Bork, 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 bork. That's basically the right way to to say it. I say either Bork or Burke. But I've had it done so many different ways. Borque, Borque, Baroque. That's how you usually can tell it's a telemarketer too. So that's fun. At least when I get the automated messages from like my doctor's appointments and stuff like that, they have it right. So that's nice. Age, just turned 43 on October 9th. So born in 1980. I've always been biased and thought it was perhaps the best year to be born, especially since that was the year that MTV came out. MTV used to be a very different animal than what it is today. I know they show a lot more reality shows like Teen Mom, Jersey Shore, blah, blah, blah. Though I don't think they do Jersey Shore so much anymore. They do something else that's almost equally as trashy. So, but I don't really watch it anymore. But at one point, MTV was just music videos for the most part, or they had MTV News, which was basically news about celebrities or primarily music. It wasn't until the 90s that they started doing things like dating shows, Singled Out, I remember in particular. But, you know, I remember growing up watching TV shows like G.I. Joe, which tried to do, you know, messages at the end to try to teach kids stuff. And then there was, of course, the after school specials, if anyone remembers those. So those were nice. But I've got to watch the world sort of evolve, being born back then. You know, the technology evolve. In the 80s, there were still 45s, which were smaller records. They were kind of like singles. You'd have one, maybe two songs on each side. And of course, there was cassette tapes, VHS tapes. I do remember seeing some 8-tracks. Never played them though. First video game system was a ColecoVision. Then had a few Ataris before the NES came out. Nintendo's first system to hit the States, which was, it changed things for kids a lot. Kids, that was like the age where kids stopped wanting to go outside so much. A lot of us still did though, because you had to get away from your parents, but at least in my house. Let's see. Favorite vacation place. Growing up, that was when my mom actually took us camping. Of course, it was a mixed bag when I came to realize why she was doing it. Each summer, she would pack up our whole apartments, like whatever apartment we were living at the time. She would pack it all up, put like the majority of it in storage, and then take us camping for the summer. Because doing it that way, the rent for the storage space and the campsite was cheaper than paying for rent. And then that meant she had more money to spend on other things that she wanted, like cigarettes, pot, beer. And then we pretty much had to find a new place to live before school started that year. So that was fun. But the camping itself was also fun, especially when my mom got this one particular spot a few times. It was right by the lake at the campsite. And this was in Manchester. Well, the campsite wasn't in Manchester, but this was when we were living in Manchester. I don't remember exactly where the campgrounds was, but I know it was still in New Hampshire. So she kept getting this one particular site that was right by a lake. And so late at night, I would actually go swimming and just moon high, the only one there. And I've actually always really liked the outdoors. I can't go out there as much. First of all, transportation is needed, and I don't have that, and I don't have anyone that would go with me. So if that changed, I would still like to do at least some small walks through like a nature trail or something like that. I'm not sure I could do like an actual mountain climb, which I did used to do when I was like a teen and stuff. Sprained my ankle once doing that. Came down between two rocks on the descent, and it just messed up my ankle. But I mean, I do like the sound of rain and thunderstorms. That's like my white noise, like preferably. Wind going through the trees, listening to the animals just doing their thing, the smell of people cutting grass. Like I would be happy living out in the woods, and I think I answer that question later. So I should probably get back to the questions. But there was a question of how many countries have I visited, and unfortunately that's currently none. But at least two places that I would love to visit is Japan and Ireland. I know that seems like a bit like they're nothing to do with one another, but I recently found out that I'm almost half Irish doing one of those DNA tests. Then again, growing up in and around Boston, most people think that they're at least a little bit Irish growing up in that area. Maybe there's some truth to that. But I've always wanted to kind of go, I know they have some strife kind of with their religion and stuff like that going on, but they've gotten better. But I mean, I know that that's a place with lots of outdoorsy sort of homes and farmland, and it's a more quiet sort of life there. So I would like to take that in for a while, at least. And then Japan is... I'm not a weeaboo. At least I don't think so. Because my appreciation for Japan is so much more than anime. In fact, I haven't watched anime for a while now, sadly. But their culture, except for their low-key sexism, the way they have their technology, I mean, that's always growing there. Their food culture, all their culture, in fact, like the whole the history behind their kimonos, the history behind samurai, geisha, their mythology, the belief structure behind Shintoism, which is maybe the only belief structure I could actually get behind anymore, because it's more of an idea. No, it is a belief system, but I like the idea overall that you should treat everyone and everything with kindness, because there's a spirit in it, and so you shouldn't mistreat it. I appreciate that a lot. The way they try to respect their dead, their little celebrations, the way they try to be together as a community, even in their neighborhoods, looking out for one another. I've actually studied a bit about the country, and it's not perfect, but if I could lose the weight, I could see myself living there. And I'd have to learn the language. And eventually, I will pick up my Rosetta Stone that I spent the money on to get the whole lifetime subscription thing on, and actually do that. But I think right now, I think it's a better place than America. I know some people wouldn't be happy to hear that, but especially with their stance on guns and how they treat violent attacks in general, it's just better. At least that's what I believe. Favorite TV show? I haven't been watching much TV lately, but I still have to watch season 2 of Loki, but that's one of the ones I wrote down. Chucky, I still have to see season 2 and catch up on what season 3 is up to. And in the past, I used to love watching just cooking shows. Whether that was Hell's Kitchen, Chopped, instructional cooking shows. Like, I watch a bunch of those still on YouTube. Sam the Cooking Guy in particular, he's really great. And the fact that he cusses a bit like a Bostonian, I appreciate. Favorite actor? I couldn't stop at one, because there's actually a few. So Patrick Stewart, Hugh Jackman, Ryan Reynolds, Cate Blanchett, Tom Hiddleston, Tom Holland, Robert Downey Jr., and Sherry Moon Zombie. A lot of them have been in MCU movies. One of them has not. I could have wrote down so much more, and I probably should have, but I mean, some people wouldn't recognize them necessarily, because sometimes they're more voices for like horror movies and stuff like that, or they are horror movie actors. Some of them were bigger in the 80s and 90s and might not be so well known now, like Corey Feldman. Mad respect for him. And it's a shame of what happened to his best friend, Corey Haim. It's a shame what happens to those that start young in Hollywood in general, in fact. Will Wheaton, speaking of that, he went through some stuff himself. But um, they're not my favorite actors just because of what they're in. Sometimes understanding some of the struggles they've gone through, who they are as people, that's what's helped me come to appreciate who they are. So having one favorite isn't possible for me. But maybe that's why I'm pansexual. Favorite childhood toy. And see, again, I couldn't stick to one, but there was my cast iron Voltron toy. I wish I could have kept it all these years, because first of all, it was cool as hell, but also, if I had needed to sell it, it probably fetch a fair bit of money. Because first of all, it was cast iron, but they actually were separate parts that came together. So you had the separate lions that would actually form together to become the whole Voltron. And the heads on the hands could actually launch. And I was a punk. And when my sisters were pissing me off, I would launch the heads at them. And the heads were also cast iron. So, first of all, you had to get close. But it wasn't a love tap. It would kind of hurt them depending on where it hit. And I would get in a little bit of trouble for that. But it was my job as the oldest, you know. Nobody picks on them but me, but it was my job to pick on them. But I also wrote down Gem dolls. Gem and the Holograms. Not that crap they tried to reboot, but the original. Those dolls were not only cool because of the colors and the hair and the makeup, which were wild, but they would come with cassettes where they actually had songs from the show that the individual doll was highlighted in singing. Well, I should say the person who voiced the character that was, imaged in the doll. And I would play those and sing along and play with my dolls. And so my music appreciation started really early. Like really early. Again, I don't know if that's because I was born the same year MTV came out, but it's true. And so, yeah, I remember the tapes. I also remember Teddy Ruxpin now. And sometimes I would play those tapes in him, so it would seem like he was singing, which I thought was like the most awesome thing ever at the time, especially since Teddy was a boy and here he was singing like a girl. This question was a little weird, but I answered it anyway. How many shoes? I have 3 different sets of boots, 2 sneakers, and 3 sets of sandals. 2 of the boots are the same kind, just in different colors, and they have like this sequiny outside. One's black, one's like a dark blue, and then the other one's just a black and white set of snow boots. I mean, they all have tracks on them so they can be fine out in the snow and stuff. But 2 of them, they were just so pretty. I didn't want to choose one color, and they were on clearance at Walmart. So they were like under $15 a piece. So score. And the sneakers, there's a black pair of sneakers, and then I guess the other ones aren't really sneakers. They look more like They're not quite golf shoes either because they don't have the treads to be golf, but they kind of look like golf shoes, like in the design of them, the look of them overall. And those are like a navy blue. And then the sandals, one's glittery, one's like a more thick-soled black one. And the other one, it looks black, but it has this reflective sort of material on the thong part, where like when bright lights hit it, it works. You know how like runners will have that stuff either like on their shoes or the reflective patches on like their jackets or something. So when bright lights hit it, it'll reflect the light back brighter so you can see them. But when the light's not on it, you don't really notice it as much. That's what that material is. I wish I could remember the name of it, but right now I'm drawing a blank. But that's what that is. So I don't have a massive shoe collection like I think women are expected to have. It's nothing super fancy. So yeah, that's it. How many kids? Just the one, though technically not even a kid anymore, because she was born in 99. So she's definitely an adult now. Last movie I cried to, Infinity War. The part where Peter's fading. I'm not going to say more than that because potential spoilers for anyone who maybe hasn't watched by now. But yeah, that I've rewatched so many of the MCU movies, save for that one. That scene in particular, I'm going to go into the whys maybe a little bit more with a different question that I answered. But yeah, that the acting in that scene and what he says in that scene hit me so deeply, and I resonated with it so much that in the theater and even the first at-home watch through, I cried. So I can't really watch that one as much. Tom Holland, you're fucking amazing, okay? You're young, but your acting is amazing. Worst movie I've ever seen was Alone in the Dark. That was in 2005, done by Uwe Boll. Most movies, if not all movies done by Uwe Boll, are fucking horrid. Watch one if you need to, but he did a lot of video game movies. He did the Blood Rain movies, and he would just take a massive shit on them. The rumor was he was doing it just to get the money, I guess, to make the movies, and then he'd just make a shitty movie. He didn't care about what it would pull at the box office. And the fact is that he got Christian Slater and Tara Reid when she was much more relevant to do this one in particular. And I played the games. So I went in there so hopeful. And I came out so disappointed. Have you ever shot a gun? No. I really don't want to either. People might not like this, but I wish we were more like Australia or Japan in our gun laws. I think they're unnecessary. And I think they're more problems than they're worth anything. Hunters, yeah, sure. You know, when you're going hunting, have your rifle. But we certainly don't need assault weapons. And we don't need handguns. We don't. Oh, but I need to protect my house. Well, if nobody had guns, you could just have a baseball bat. That would give you reach. And you could just stop at one hit and not kill a person potentially. And then, you know, it's less problem. It's just less problems. It's less problems. And it's not a left or a right thing. You know, the Second Amendment was written at a time where they were necessary. They're not necessary anymore. We've evolved. We don't need them. People are using them to kill people for no good fucking reason. Sorry. Last movie watched. I wrote down one thing, but actually, since I was just watching movies before doing this, I need to change my answer. Freddy's Dead, The Final Nightmare is the last movie I just watched. I have a playlist set up on YouTube of the Nightmare on Elm Street movies, all except for the seventh one, New Nightmare. I don't want to speak badly of Wes Craven because I enjoy so much of his work, but that one was it was terrible. I didn't like it. I didn't like the kid actor. He was annoying to me. I'm sorry. But that's how I felt. So, yep. I fell asleep through most of it. But sometimes I just set that playlist to go before I fall asleep. Yes, I can sleep through horror movies. Oh, I guess that says a lot about me, huh? And yet, when my cats hop up on the bed, I'm awake. Yep. Roller coasters. Have I ever been on any? No, but I really want to. I just haven't been anywhere where there was any. That's just the sad truth of it. I've never been to Disney. I've never been to Hershey Park. I've never been to an amusement park, period. So no coasters. But I'd be cool too. I definitely would have to have contacts by that point though, because I don't want to lose my glasses. Celebrity crush. I picked two because it just seemed weird picking one gender for this. And then again trying to choose ultimately. But it was Hugh Jackman and Brie Larson. So again, not just because of their looks, but because who they are as people. Yep. They definitely do things for me. Sport I like the most, football. Have I ever cheated in a relationship? No. Um, Back when I was dating, I dated. I dated multiple people. So I wasn't, if I was with one person, I was with one person. If I wasn't, then I wasn't. I openly communicated this, so there wasn't any misunderstandings. There was one time I found out I was the other woman. I didn't like that. There was another time where I was the other woman, but that relationship it was already on its way out. We were friends, and the feelings I had for that person were real. The love I had was real. I still love that person to this day. But we're not really in contact. But the love's still there. You know, I've found that I'm a sort of person that when I do love, it seems to be forever. It doesn't matter if I've fallen in love with someone else. So whether or not I'm in a polyamorous relationship, my heart is polyamorous. Because I can fall in love with multiple people at the same time. Of course, that's now, have I ever emotionally cheated? And that's still no. Because in the times that I would develop feelings for anyone else, and I have been with Tom, we've talked about it. Because sometimes online, you're talking, feelings happen, but nothing lasted. I mean, people lose touch, and I still think about them, but I don't think they think about me. So again, that's how I know my feelings were legit. This might be too much to be explaining. I don't know. But yeah, I have a very big heart. And it's not just because I have a big body, but maybe it's because some would say I didn't get enough love growing up. And so now I'm trying to overcompensate. I don't know. But that's what it is. So, biggest fear: death. And so this goes back to the last movie I cried to. I have a fear of dying. Absolutely I do. I'm not religious, and I believe I also answer that question later. But I don't believe there's an afterlife. I don't believe in reincarnation. So this is the only life we have. And once that's it, that's it. So I think honestly people should be treating each other better than they do these days, but they probably won't. And that's a fucking shame, honestly. But when I go, then I won't, for as shitty as some moments, a lot of moments of my life had been in the past and everything else, I won't be able to see the world continue to evolve. I won't be able to see if we actually get to travel to other planets, terraform, how we develop our medicine. Can we actually prolong our lives? Will AI actually ever be AI? Because I'm going to touch base on it later, but AI right now, everyone's clutching their pearls over nothing. This isn't AI. What we have right now is not, it's not real. But anyway, when I die, that starts the clock on being forgotten, which is another reason why I wanted to start this channel. Then maybe it'd be a little less likely that would happen, because then I'll be on here and people will be able to stumble on me and hear me and know me, who knows how long into the future. But I don't ever want to die. So I sometimes joke with people that I can't be suicidal because of this, and it's true. I mean, every once in a while, maybe I'll get one of those thoughts. Maybe people would be better off if I weren't here. But there's no way I could go through with it, because there's nothing. There'd be nothing for me to go back to. There'd be nothing. I couldn't reverse it if I wanted to. I mean, everything would stop permanently. And I can't deal with that. I can't. So, yeah, that and heights. I have a thing about heights and falling from them, which I know I want to do roller coasters, but I have a thing about heights. It's looking down and not feeling secure, like I'm going to fall. That's I get the vertigo, and then I feel like something's, like I'm going to fall. That's what that is. Like, sometimes there's those stairs where if you look down through them, it's just metal grating essentially, so you can see the ground below. That'll freak me out. Like somehow the step's gonna break and I'll fall. But those are more secure because they're fucking metal. Duh, Dessa. But, that's what it is. So, yeah. Those are the two things I have fears of. Thankfully, no other silly fears, I guess. I mean, I have PTSD triggers, but those aren't the same thing. Favorite midnight snack? Chunky Monkey ice cream. I mean, I know it's not entirely good for you, but it's more natural than perhaps some other ice creams. And, I mean, it's primarily banana at that, so it's not horrible. And the calories, not horrible. Not great. I mean, it's like still have your day's calories in like 1 pint. So, I don't do that very often. But on occasion, yeah, I've done it. Pet peeve. I have a few. The ones I wrote down, though, are teeth scrapers, repeaters, absolutes, and the chronically stupid. Teeth scrapers. The people that bite on their silverware as they're eating, and then as they're pulling that fork or spoon out, scrape, that I don't know if it's because I'm on the spectrum, but the second I hear that noise even once coming from a person, I can't stop hearing it come from that person. I can't ignore it. And it makes me angry. And it shouldn't, but it does. It shouldn't, but it does. You don't need to bite your silverware, people. You're never that hungry. Seriously. Use your lips to get the food off of the utensil and then start chewing. You don't need your teeth. Just like if you were sucking a dick, don't do it. Repeaters. These are the people that will say the same statement 5 times in a row during a conversation as if they were expecting you to laugh or have some other response, but because you didn't have it, they're repeating themselves, looking at you for that response. And it's like, yeah, no, bro, that wasn't even funny the first time, so yeah, I'm just gonna continue on. Or you heard them just tell the whole story to someone else because they were just in the same room, and then they turn to you and start telling the story all over again. Yeah, I got it the first time. I don't need to hear it. I don't. No, stop. That's the sort of thing I mean by repeaters. I'm not going senile. Please don't treat me like I'm going senile. Because then I'm going to wonder if I'm being gaslit or if I'm starting to go senile. Okay, absolutes. These are the people that use the terms always or never all the time. And I don't even like saying it, but that's what they do. Tom is an absolute. And it does bug me. I'm more particular when I talk. Like, I'll say a few moments or, sometimes when you do this, or, I try to use more general terminology, or I will use specific terminology, but I will not use absolutes. Like, I will say, Tom, the last 5 times you forgot to flush the toilet. But I will not say, Tom, every time you're forgetting to flush the toilet. Because that would not be true. So that's an example. I know that seems like a silly pet peeve, but I don't like it when people do that because it feels like they're not paying enough attention, maybe, or something. I don't know how to explain it, but I'm realizing I've been doing this for almost an hour and I still got a lot of questions. So I'm going to finish this question, stop this, and then I'll do part 2 separately and finish up the questions, just so this is not a 2-hour fucking video, because I don't want to do that to people. So the chronically stupid, that's just, I think it's mostly self-explanatory. But it's just, it's the people that say really dumb stuff. Maybe 3 out of the 5 times they open their mouth. It just, they say things that make you want to put your head through a wall. Or just yell at them, grab them and shake them, the ones that don't make you laugh, the ones that make you angry, because they're not the only ones that are like this. And unfortunately, lemmings that are chronically stupid, they're dangerous. I mean, chronically stupid is how we got the Salem witch trials. Okay? Chronically stupid is how we got Roe v. Wade overturned. Chronically stupid is why we have the Republican Party we have today. That's I'm trying to be nice, but it's hard to do it without going into a rant about them, because they make me angry. Those sorts of people, they make me angry. And then there's the people that refuse to use proper grammar when they're writing messages or text. I didn't write that down, but that is another one. Like, even in my notes, I am seeing the times that I didn't even write a period at the end of answering my questions, and I don't like that. When I even write texts to people, they're never short. There's always periods, apostrophes, like emojis even, because I don't want to have my messages misconstrued. So when I just get the letter K in response, it makes me want to rage quit on that person. So, yeah. I'm not that aggressive of a person naturally. Like, I used to be. I've gotten better about it in the last couple decades. I used to be more feral. But I guess I'll have to get into that in the next video. So for now, I'm going to end this one. And, well, you'll technically see me again shortly. Have a great day, guys. Bye.